what's up? In this video I'm going to be showing you how expensive things are in Bangladesh and in Dhaka in particular. Check out my Bangladeshi cricket team top. In this video, by the way, I will break things down in general for how much I spent across 2 months. I'm not going to break down just one day's worth of spending like I usually do in my How Expensive Are videos, because during my trip my costs fluctuated a lot due to the fact that I stayed with lots of different people, and on some occasions I paid a lot of money for things and other occasions I barely spent anything. Anyway, I'll get into the details of my spend across 2 months. So to begin with, let's start with accommodation. During my 2 months in Bangladesh, I barely spent anything on accommodation. In fact, I literally paid for a hotel just once in Sri Mangal for 2 nights. It was 1,000 taka for a double bed, ensuite private room with a sit-down toilet and a beautiful view of a construction site. It was a decent hotel for the price, you know, under £10 per night for a private room, which anywhere in the world is you know, good value. So the rest of the time I spent my time with local people using couch surfing, and also those who messaged me privately through my Facebook or email that offered me accommodation. People I could trust. Mitchell's one example of that, where I stayed with him in Noagar after he messaged me on Facebook. Generally in Bangladesh there's a lot of budget hotels available. If you're not going to be couch surfing, that is, because I realise couch surfing isn't for everybody. So if you're looking to stay somewhere, there are a lot of budget hotels available for similar prices, 1,000 to 1,500 taka per night. However, the quality of those is going to differ from place to place, so you need to check your reviews carefully, check the hotel carefully, and if you're in doubt, if you want to be comfortable, then pay a bit more and stay at a good hotel, because to be honest, the tourism is still developing in Bangladesh, and safety and comfort are two things that you probably want to have. So just be careful when you're looking at budget hotels, and maybe go somewhere a bit better. It's up to you. Prices in Dhaka are a bit more expensive than in other places in Bangladesh. Dhaka is the most expensive place, and accommodation is going to be your biggest expense in Bangladesh. That's definitely for sure. Unless you're me and you only paid 2,000 taka in 2 whole months, which is pretty impressive. I'm actually quite proud of that. So moving on, food is the next thing I want to talk about. Generally, if you're a foreigner and you're exchanging your money into taka, food is going to be extremely cheap. You will be surprised. It's cheaper than India. For breakfast most days, I would take paratha and shobji, which is like a vegetable dish, plus some dal and plus some tea afterwards. And together with me and my host, the same place we would usually go in Mohammedpur, most occasions I pay just 40 taka, and he would pay 40 taka. It would be 80 taka in total, which is pretty insane for all that stuff for breakfast. Basically your breakfast is going to be 50 taka, 60 taka, absolute maximum, for like some, you know, paratha or some roti and some vegetables, some dal, or whatever it is that you want. For lunches and dinners, I would eat mostly in the people's homes I was staying in, but the times that I did eat out, it was always like rice, dal again, any vegetable dishes like aubergine, or, you know, things with cauliflower, potatoes, like all kinds of different things. I can't really name everything just now because there are just so many vegetables in Bangladesh, but there's a lot of vegetable dishes available. I'd usually have that with rice and with some dal, and to be honest, most of the time my lunch would come under 100 taka, or also egg as well. Basically, if you're a vegetarian, you're going to be eating a lot of egg in Bangladesh, that's for sure. I had so much egg, yeah. I mean, by the end of my trip, I literally didn't want to see an egg again for like at least another couple of months. The look of egg is just, it's so sickening to me now. Anyway, the prices are really cheap. 100 taka absolute maximum. As you can see in these clips I'm showing you right now, if you go to these hole-in-the-wall type places with, you know, lots of local people around, you'll generally see that those are the kind of places that are really busy, are often the best places to go for the tastiest food, because you know it's good, there's a lot of people there, and obviously the food there is what the real people are eating, so you want to try that kind of stuff. If you eat meat and fish, unlike me, then you're going to be really having a good time in Bangladesh. There's so much options, you know, for you, and the prices are still going to be 100 takar, probably maximum, maybe a little bit more. If you want to eat somewhere really nice, then you're going to be paying 500 takar, absolute maximum, for a really good restaurant, really nice, like fine dining restaurant. It'll only be something like 400, 500 takar for your dish, which is still underneath £5, so you can get an idea just how cheap food is here in Bangladesh, so no worries there. So moving on towards transportation, in Dhaka, almost the cheapest way you can get around medium distances is to take a local bus. If you saw my first video in Bangladesh, I took a local bus, the Mirpur Link one, to reach Ajimpur, which is Old Dhaka, and that cost me just 15 takar. And quite a few occasions in Dhaka I took local buses, you know, to go from Mohammedpur, where I usually stayed, to reach Shahbar, the main university area in the center of the city. And so 15 takar is really good, and the buses actually are not that overcrowded. You usually get a seat and it's not too bad, and it's not really like the nightmare scenario you think from the world's most densely populated city. The buses are a little bit tricky to work out. They kind of just arrive in the side of the street and you just get on while they're still moving, and then you know, it's a bit messy, but if you can work out how to do it, then great, and you'll get a great experience just trying the local bus. But for like personal transportation use, I recommend the cycle rickshaw. The cycle rickshaw is the king of the streets in Dhaka. They are absolutely everywhere. If one guy doesn't give you the price that you want, the next guy will, and they're really cheap, so you don't even really have to bargain with anybody. You're going to be paying 20 to 40 takar for a 10-minute journey, and maybe because you're a foreigner, they'll ask you for an extra 10 or 5 takar, and that is the genuine hospitality and warm-heartedness of the Bangladeshi people. They don't try and scam you at all, even if you're a foreigner. They'll just ask you for like 5 or 10 taka extra, which is for us 3p. So you don't be offended by any rise in cost, because it is still extremely cheap. And cycle rickshaws are the best way to observe the city. You get the open air, even though it's a little bit polluted in Dhaka, but in other cities you get to, you know, feel the experience of the place and really take in all the different sights. And I highly recommend a cycle rickshaw journey through Old Dhaka. That is quite amazing. As you can see in my Old Dhaka video, we were just heading down the road, and just the sounds of all the bells and all the smells was just incredible. So for slightly longer distances where you don't want to have to get on a cycle rickshaw for a long period of time, you can use something called a CNG, which is one of the green 3-wheeled like crab moving prison cells that float about the city. They are small and convenient. They get around the city easily. I said they're like prisons because you're basically in a cage locked in, but that's quite secure. No one's going to snatch your bag from you if you're in that situation. So it's a good thing, and it's used as a precaution, because before in the past in Dhaka people used to snatch bags. But I never had an issue in Dhaka with people trying to steal anything, as I'm going to highlight in my next video. I'm going to make a video about how safe Bangladesh is. More on that in the next video. But generally CNGs are pretty good. As soon as the cost reaches more than, I would say, 250 to 300 takar, then what you can do is you can take an Uber. Uber exists in Dhaka and Chittagong. I'm not sure if it exists in some of the other cities, but Uber is very new. It's only been introduced for less than 1 year, but it's the most comfortable and convenient way to get around the city, especially if you're a Westerner and you have higher standards and you want to feel comfortable in Bangladesh. Ubers will cost you up to 500 takar plus, depending on how far you're going, and most of the drivers will actually call you before they arrive, and then after you get in they're also going to ask you where you're going. I found quite a few of the drivers don't actually read the map, so the etiquette of Uber hasn't developed yet. A lot of the guys are using it just like a regular taxi, but they're doing it in the name of Uber. But I've not had a problem. Every single Uber I've taken has got me to my destination, sometimes with a few issues, but generally Uber is going to be the easiest way to get around the city, that's for sure. If you don't mind spending a bit more, if you're trying to save money, then stick to cycle rickshaws, stick to CNGs, and when that price goes up, then you can take an Uber. If you need an Uber, then obviously you need a Bangladeshi SIM card. You can get one in the airport when you arrive, and there's also many places around the city, just like small roadside stores, you can get a SIM card really cheap. So for transportation around the country, not just within Dhaka or Chittagong or any city, the best way is to take a bus, in my opinion. There's a lot of good AC companies like Green Line, Hanif, I don't know about Aina. I've heard some bad things about that one. But take Green Line. I think Green Line's a good option to go for. You'll be surprised by how comfortable it is inside one of those buses. I'm showing you the clips now. I've got like extra leg room. It's almost like flying business class on an airplane. You know, it's that good. That'll cost you just over 1,000 takar. I can think of journeys I've done for like just 1,000 takar, even 900 takar from Dhaka to Sylhet, Dhaka to Khulna. Some different journeys I've made, and it's only been roughly £10 for the ticket. So Green Line is a good company. I recommend that one in particular. And finally, the last expenses you're going to have to make will be for your attractions. Lal Bafor and Arsan Manzil in Dhaka are just 100 takar for entrance. Pretty much everywhere around the country you have to enter. Most of the attractions are extremely cheap and you won't be paying more than £5 for things. Even though as a foreigner you're going to be paying twice or triple the amount of a Bangladeshi compared to, say, the Tower of London. It's nothing. So don't worry about that. Souvenirs, go crazy with the garments. There are amazing clothes available for very, very good value, probably the best in the world and the best quality in the world, because you're getting them from where they're made and you're buying them locally, you're helping the economy, you're paying less, you're getting good quality, you're really winning in that sense. So make sure that you buy at least some kind of clothes in Bangladesh, because you're not going to regret it and you're not going to find it anywhere else. And yeah, just like small things I can remember, I paid for a haircut in Chittagong just 80 takar. The guy spent 25 minutes on my hair and he only charged me 80 takar. Again, that's 60p, something like that. So that's everything for this video about how expensive things are. I hope this was somewhat useful to you if you're thinking about visiting the country or traveling around. You can spend months in the country, even though it's small. There's plenty of things to see, as I've highlighted in my videos. And thank you for watching once more. I'm going to be making one more video about how safe Bangladesh is, so check that one out next, and I'll see you then. Peace.